I'm Dean Sturridge and I'm the proud ambassador of Gordon Moody, and this is Behind the Bet. Yeah, well, I think my first introduction to gambling was my mum sending me to the bookies at the age of 9 or 10. Couldn't reach the counter and sometimes wasn't even allowed into the bookies. So I'd have the bet and I'd wait for somebody who's going to be entering the bookie and I'd ask them to put the bet on for me. And then eventually that developed to where maybe somebody behind the counter was very relaxed. They would allow me to put the bets on myself. But as I said, it was exciting and exhilarating because having huge sums of cash in my hands, putting the bet on for my mum and then collecting the winnings was a great emotional high and something that I was looking to replicate again and again. From that young age of putting the bets on for my mum, I think that accelerated very quickly for me putting bets on for myself. So I would be reading the form of the Racing Post and the Sporting Life and then putting bets on, and I had a huge first win, which was thousands of pounds. And at this stage, I thought I had a secret code, a secret system to beat the bookies and be more intelligent than everybody else. And that feeling pretty much was throughout my gambling history. Many highs and lows, the highs of obviously winning and the self-esteem and the pride and the feeling of your ego being boosted when you won money. But then on the flip side of that, when you lose, then your ego being bashed, you're feeling lonely, feeling isolated, feeling sorry for yourself. And those lows were very, very low. So I feel being introduced to gambling at a young age and where my brain was at that stage and where it's not fully developed definitely impacted on my adult life later down the line. Chasing losses is pretty much what every gambler will do. I feel it's because of the emotions and the feelings involved, because you feel the bookies have got one over and you're trying to get one back over on them. So it's more ego driven, I feel, more than financial. Obviously the financial impact is massive, but I feel again it's just about what's going on in your brain, in that you don't want to lose and you feel, and gambling is a tool to make you feel better about yourself. So I'd definitely put down the chasing the losses to an emotional feeling. Yes, numerous times, and probably how I was aware gambling was harmful to me was my first big contract signing as a professional for Derby County as an 18-year-old, and a huge signing on fee was received, and I'd put a Ford Fiesta Firefly in the forecourt at Derby. I was saying I was going to buy it, and unfortunately I lost all of that signing on fee within 24 hours and had to borrow some money from a teammate who I got on very well with. So that feeling that you would have in buying your first car and that pride of using your own money, unfortunately for me, I didn't have it. So that was a very defining moment for me to understand in a way that gambling is very harmful to me and I got a problem. And then as I got older and became a fully fledged professional in the first team playing in the Premier League, in the lead up to a game between 2 and 3 o'clock, I'd have my kit on, but I'd go to the toilet and I would look at my phone and looking online and putting the racing on silently, but looking at the race colours. And this is in a build up to a fixture and a game where I'm going to be playing professional football. So these were moments that I knew something was wrong, but unfortunately for me, I had nobody to talk to and no help at this stage. I think because of racing being at the forefront of your mind, everything else unfortunately becomes a little less significant. So when you're in the room with somebody and you're talking with them, or maybe sitting and watching TV together, your mind's still going away thinking about gambling, thinking about the next bet, thinking of your strategy, trying to read the form. Even sometimes I could be sitting on the settee with my partner and I'm having her sit in front of me as such, so then I can look at my phone and look at the race form over her shoulder and still look at the TV. So it's a feeling of deceit and lies and not being present in the relationship and in the conversations with people because you're thinking about gambling and nothing else. Yeah, very much so. I think when you're gambling, especially when you lose, you have a feeling of being alone on a desert island. It's like you just, nobody around you, nobody understands what you're feeling, nobody understands what you're going through. And you feel ashamed and guilty of the pain that you're causing yourself and to others. So then you don't have the capacity or confidence to really talk about it. I feel it would be through numerous things. Number one would be rejection. The life of a footballer, as great as it was, and I loved every minute of it, and the trappings, the affluence, the attention, when you have the rejection of not playing on match day from the manager, or the rejection of the fans not loving your performance, that would be a trigger for me because I wanted to be accepted. Also, another major factor would be injury, not having control over your body, which obviously you can break down, you can be out for a week or a month or sometimes over a year, and having to deal with not being able to do the thing you love. I realized emotionally I found it very difficult to do that, and I used gambling as a form of escapism. Time, in terms of not being concentrated on perfecting my craft, not working what would I say, as diligently and as efficiently as I should do my job, because there would be occasions where I'd think I can't get away from the training ground quick enough to get to the 12:30 at Plumpton or the 1 o'clock at Sandown. So you're not concentrating on your job because in your mind you're thinking about how can I put my next bet on. I knew or had an idea numerous times throughout my career, but naively for me, I didn't go online, didn't know that there was treatment centres or Gamblers Anonymous or any kind of company or support group that would be there to give me help. So throughout my career, it was just a feeling of isolation and pain, and I went through that for numerous years until in the last 5 or 6 years, when it was the last time I put a bet on, I said to my wife, I've got a problem, broke down, and her and I talked together, went online, and the first available thing at that stage was Gamblers Anonymous. Yeah, it was a slogan. I think it was when the fun stop. When the fun stops, stop, I think it was. And when I saw this, it really resonated, because probably at the start, when I was gambling, it was fun, also a financial gain, because I came from a council estate and it was a quick fix of getting money very quickly. But then I realised, being a Premier League footballer, I was earning copious amounts of money, but still deciding to look at gambling as an escape from my responsibilities and my emotions and feelings. So I feel like, yes, the pain that I was feeling for numerous things, gambling was a release for me. And that's when I said to my wife, when that commercial came on, I said, that's exactly how I feel, and I have to stop this now. I would say it can be as easy or as tough as you want it to be. So for me, it was quite easy because I am committed, and how diligent and how hard working I was to talking to people, going every week to the GA room, listening to podcasts, reading people's therapies, reading self-help groups, and listening to self-help groups, also going online to Zoom meetings and chairing Zoom GA meetings. All these things combined, especially, I think communication and connection is the key. When you're a gambler, I feel like you become withdrawn and you find it difficult to talk about things, whereas within my recovery, I have had no issue in showing vulnerability, whereas throughout my life, I didn't ever show vulnerability. As a footballer, you became conditioned to be very hard and very, probably neglect how you felt emotionally, because you're in a profession that you have to be successful in and you have to be very strong in and not show any vulnerability. I think going through recovery was the opening of a new me, and realizing I am vulnerable, I am self-reflective, I have got imperfections, and I don't need to put up a facade. So, as I said, a recovery can be as easy or as hard as you want it to be. Everybody has their own individual, unique journey. But for me, it has been quite easy, I would say, because of how responsible of being and taking accountability, and being able to have the capacity to really share my thoughts and emotions and feelings to my close friends, to my family, and in the GA room. I think it would have helped massively, first and foremost for me, in terms of giving a residential program for me to invest in and for their support, but also on a wider scale, being able to help my family and friends and give them the education and give them the support. Because I think a lot of times with addiction, people think of the addict, but also you have to think of the people around the addict as well, and how they're affected. And I think Gordon Moody would have been very influential and very important in helping in this process. I feel I've come to a place where I'm at peace with myself and very comfortable. I'll be honest, I talk to my family and my kids most importantly, because it could have an impact on them. Previously, as a gambler, I would have been selfish and just done things impulsively without thinking about anybody else. Whereas with this, with something so important where it can impact on them as well as me, I felt I needed to talk to them about that. And what they said, they reacted to me in exactly the way in that I felt myself. They said, "Dad, you've got a passion for your recovery. You are looking to inspire and support people, and this gives you the opportunity to do that." So my recovery is a badge of honor. So now being an ambassador for Gordon Moody is a really inspiring thing for me. And I'm hoping if I can help and support and inspire just one person, then that will be satisfying and fulfilling for me on my journey. I think because people see as shame, they can be ashamed of how they feel and what they're doing, the guilt, the pain. And if we can give them the insight that there is no shame, there is no guilt, they have an illness and they need help, they need support, they need to talk about it, they need to communicate, and that connection and being aware that others are similar to themselves, then that can be the catalyst for their recovery. It's all about awareness. I feel talking to people, putting the awareness out there, knowledge and education can be a very important tool to make people feel more comfortable about their recovery. I'm totally abstinent myself, and you take one day at a time. I'm very determined and have a huge belief that I won't ever put on another bet again, but I'm not against other people gambling. That's their choice. So people can gamble for fun and have a control in their gambling. Whereas when I gambled, I was uncontrollable, and that's why I knew I needed help. And I'm thankful now that I'm on this journey of knowing gambling can be fun for people. So if I drive past the bookies, I don't have a feeling of anxiety or pain or any issues, and people walking in there, so I would feel like good luck to them as long as they're doing it moderately and in control. But for myself, I realise it's something I can't do. I would say you're not alone. Numerous people are in the same place as you and have been in the same place as you. I'm hoping my story will inspire you and support you to make you realise that there can be success at the end of it. You can become a better person. Don't want to sound cliche, but I'm hoping you go and make that phone call, look for the support, and then eventually you will care about yourself a little bit more than you do now. And eventually, hopefully one day you'll love yourself, because you're going into recovery, and being committed to that recovery will give you a chance of being recovered. I'd just like to share as well in how my life has changed since I'm in recovery. When I was in the midst of my addiction, I wasn't present in my relationships, I wasn't present in conversations, where now I am the absolute opposite. In every conversation I have with loved ones, with family, with friends, I'm listening to every word, I'm being attentive, I'm being caring. In time with my kids, I'm now not distracted by my phone and looking at the next bet to put on. I'm now listening also to every word that they say to me. I want to go for walks with them. I want to go for walks with my wife. I also want to go on bike rides to keep fit. And now I'm also a grandfather for the first time. So I've got a 1-year-old grandson, and now I'm enjoying every moment with him. And I'm hoping, me being in recovery, when he gets older, he can look at this and realize his grandfather is sharing his addiction with the world, but also his recovery, and he's very proud of it. So my name is Dean Sturridge. This was my story. Behind the bet, every story is different. If you're going through gambling harm, or somebody close to you is going through gambling harm, please talk to friends and family, but also know that Gordon Moody is there available for you to access, and I'm sure they'll play a significant part in your recovery.